This is my latest essay, just got published a couple days ago in a publication called Contemplate on Medium. I used to tell these stories just like for fun around fire pits, but then when I started to write them down, I realized that they were kind of crazy, and I maybe shouldn't share them. And I don't know, it takes some courage to share these stories. Anyway, I'm gonna read it now. Okay. I grew up as a natural born killer. It took time to build perspective for empathy and compassion. By middle school, I wasn't planning murders anymore. Trying to derail the Amtrak commuter train from Hoboken was impromptu. Don, Lev, Joe, and I were walking the tracks looking for a good spot to lay down some quarters. See if the whole flattening story was myth or legend. We never found out. The tracks ran along a ridge line with a slope of gravel on each side leading down to a wall of woods separating passengers from bustling towns. I like to stroll along a single rail, stepping one blue suede Puma in front of the other to show off my balance skills. Lev skipped right down the center, freely hopping from timber to timber. Meanwhile, Don and Joe, both sporting bowl cuts with straight dirty blonde hair, stuck safely to the gravel. Dudes, forget the quarters. Check out this tree. That's what I said. A fallen ancient elm had been cut up into sections and left there for us. Lev piped in immediately. What you got in mind, Drew? I'm thinking, what'll happen if we lay this trunk across the tracks? I don't know, guys. This doesn't seem like a good idea, said Joe. Yeah, I'm not sure about this, Don agreed. Come on, guys, I said. Lev and I can't move this thing alone. Lev wasn't dressed for the occasion with his slick black hair, polo shirt, and penny loafers, but that didn't stop him from diving in and trying to pick up the damn tree by himself. Don and I were the muscle, so we got the end. Then Joe jumped in and joined Lev, working the middle, one end at a time. The four of us marched the trunk up the gravel and onto the tracks. We were sucking wind, sweaty, and laughing by the time we positioned it, spanning one rail to the other. What's it gonna do? Maybe it'll derail the train. Oh man, this is some scary shit, guys. When's the next train coming? It's gotta be soon. In great anticipation, we placed our ears on the tracks to try to hear an engine rolling in the distance. When we heard its whistle blow as it barreled through downtown, we all jumped. Like army men in a ditch, lying along the gravel slope, our eyes peeled just below the level of the rails. The blaring horn got louder and louder. We all stayed low, not for fear of getting hurt, but not to be seen. We were so close to the tracks, the train roared right towards us. The sound deafening, a tornado. When the engine struck the trunk, it flicked it like a toothpick, sending it helicoptering right over us, whirring. Our heads tilted up, watching it fly over, and we followed it, cut through the woods, like a string trimmer taking down tall weeds. I filled with panic and ran. We all ran. That was crazy. It was crazy. We could have been killed if we hadn't been in that ditch. And what if the train did derail? We could have hurt so many people. But that didn't stop us from reckless behavior, capable of death and destruction. I believe humans are born innocent, good-hearted souls. The experience of life then starts to chip away at our purity. We build egos, fortresses of protection, only then are we capable of doing harmful, even evil acts. But my life experiences paint a contrarian picture. My earliest memories include downright devilish deeds. It's as if I was born bad and then got better with age. From a little Damien Thorne to a grammar school kid with a death wish. In middle school, I was a reckless moron. In high school, an asshole. And as a young adult, call me inconsiderate. As my hair thinned, beard grayed, and belly bulged, my mind grew wiser, my actions more loving. One of my earliest memories, before I could speak, is slamming my dress shoes on church pews. I was an imp whose laces needed untying by my mortified mother. She needed to remove my soles. My brother was an altar boy, Dad the deacon. Was I just a bored child, a caged animal filled with untamed energy, disrupting the reverent parishioners? Or was I something worse? They should have locked me in a cell, not set me free in grammar school. In the 3rd grade, we learned about gravity. My teacher, who must have grown up in the era of Ripley's Believe It or Not, used folklore to drive home the lesson with shock and awe. If a penny is dropped from the Empire State Building, it can split a person in half. Ooh, ah, said the children. Of course, this lesson was aptly timed with a school trip to the World Trade Center, or, as we fondly called it at the time, the Twin Towers. In grammar school, I could not predict the horror of 9/11 and the real impact it had on my life. Those towers were in plain sight from my hometown. Among those lost was my Babe Ruth baseball coach. It's no joking matter. But at that innocent age, I could plan a horrific event of my own. If a penny from the Empire State Building could split a person in half, I wondered, then what could a quarter do from the Twin Towers? What could a whole pocket full of change do? I concocted an evil, curious plan to carry a fistful of dimes, pennies, nickels, and quarters with me on the field trip. It was premeditated, attempted mass murder. Gotta read this line. It was premeditated, attempted mass murder executed by an 8-year-old. On the fateful day, after taking a school bus from Rutherford through the Lincoln Tunnel into Manhattan, after being led by nervous teachers and chaperones through New York City streets to the entrance of the Twin Towers, after taking an insanely fast elevator to the top of the building, standing on the observation deck, wind whipping, my long curly hair slapping my face, I peered left, glanced right, dug my hand into my pocket for a full grasp of change, and whoosh, flung the coins off the side of the massive skyscraper. Oh, shit. My heart pounded, wondering what was happening on the streets below. I didn't feel guilty. It was a rush of excitement. I couldn't wait to get down to ground level to see for myself how the experiment panned out. When we finally exited the building, sirens blared everywhere. I heard police cars, ambulances, and a sea of people screaming. Of course I did. We were in Manhattan. But I witnessed no death. Today, I know the most harm done would be a coin clanging against an unsuspecting business person's window. Terminal velocity and turbulence would have kept the flat coin sailing slowly, zigzagging and smacking against the side of the building on the way down. More likely, the coins landed on a ledge I couldn't see and didn't even cause that slight disturbance. Looking back, it's a miracle I survived my youth. It's a blessing I never killed anyone. I injured people. I drove like a moron and sent my friend's forehead into the windshield of my 1968 Chrysler Newport. I caused pain and hurt feelings. I was a bad boyfriend, took girls for granted, and made out with a fraternity brother steady. I've driven drunk. One time, I fell asleep at the wheel with a car full of friends. We went flying off the highway at top speed and somehow came to a stop safely in a grassy median, the tall green blades higher than the windows. Yet through it all, I can't help but think, I was a good kid. I'm lucky. We all were. As many random and thoughtless acts of bad, I did good, too. I was a Harley-riding, tattooed, beer-drinking rebel at night and a volunteer tutor to at-risk high school kids by day. I've grown up to be a loyal friend and always a faithful partner. As I've aged, I find that I've mellowed. I'm growing gooder with each turn of the sun. It seems to me that compassion and empathy are learned behaviors. I wasn't born considerate or empathetic. That kid in church was bored and without self-awareness. That pocket full of change, he was filled with wonder. By the tracks, we were bad boys doing dumb shit. I guess you could say we were growing up. Reading Dharma Bums at night, I romanticize about living in the present moment with a rucksack on a mountaintop. As my morning yoga practice comes to a close, lying in Savasana, future concerns melt away and past guilt dissolves without judgment. Living in the present with childlike curiosity is liberating. It's a source for creativity. But our memories and our plans are not useless. Life's experiences have taught me the difference between self-love and selfishness. Today I can live in the present and keep my childhood curiosity with perspective. Childlike curiosity.